Whew. All right. Hello, everyone. We're back. It's Tuesday. I am very tired. I slept like crap last night. What are you doing? How are you? What's new? How is everyone? Kind of talking to myself while I wait for everybody to make it through pre-rolls and all those other things. What's up, Charles? Okay. I need a nap. I did so yesterday. I woke up, went into the studio because I had a bunch of meetings yesterday, and that's funny. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's up, Bridgewater? Yeah, so I got up yesterday. I came in here. I had a bunch of meetings, and I got a coffee on the way in, but I didn't get anything else to eat. And then I proceeded to make another pot of coffee, continued to not eat, and then went home at like 3 p.m., realized that I hadn't eaten and I'd had way too much coffee, and it kind of made me like jittery and queasy, which is always a fun feeling. So I just felt like crap all day yesterday, and then I didn't sleep very well. So I'm feeling a little run down. My apologies. I'm probably a little lower energy than usual, but I'm going to do my best here and see what I can pull off. Okay, so my plan for today is to build a multiplayer real-time app, and I'm going to be using PartyKit for this. So PartyKit is it's like a nice abstraction over WebSocket, and it manages all the boilerplate stuff, the connection, recovery, balancing things out once if you drop the connection, if you refresh the connection, et cetera, PartyKit does all that. And so what we get is a really friendly API for very quickly making just about anything multiplayer. So that's what I want to work on today is I'm going to see if I can get this done in about 3 hours. Because this is for my series for web devs, one app idea, which I can show you if I click this button. Okay, so let's go over here, and this is the new episode. This was super fun. We had Cassidy, David, and Shonday came on. We all built apps that the prompt was you had to build an app with a leaderboard. And so Cassidy built something called Jumbly, which is an app that you may have seen. It's a game kind of like Wordle. David built a cool. He actually used PartyKit, so he built a weather leaderboard. So comparing like what your weather is like in wherever you're at. Some cool stuff there. Shonday built a leaderboard for scoring leaderboards, which I thought was very good. That one, Shonday's a troll. She got me so good. And then I built an app that was a procrastination game. So you sort lists, and this was really fun, right? So we're doing another episode, and the PartyKit team was kind enough to sponsor it. So PartyKit is going to be the required tech for this, and the prompt is we have to build a multiplayer real-time experience that is not a chat app or a drawing app, because those are kind of the default experiences that tend to get made, like the Hello World experiences. I'm gonna make sure. I think if I lean back. You see me going out of focus. I need to make this. Hold please while I try to increase the tension on my chair so that I don't lean back into oblivion here. All I really want is just to not fall backwards if I sit back, Okay, let's see. If I lean back, That seems okay. All right. Yeah. So let's dig into this and see what we can get done. I should make a banner. Let's go with multiplayer real-time app. Okay, so we'll put that up so that if anybody wants to, you got any questions, etc., you can definitely dig into that. Is PartyKit free? It has a generous free tier. In fact, I think PartyKit right now might only be free. Let's find out. Let's dig in. We got pricing here. So up to 10 live projects. So basically the big thing looks like the number of projects is the pricing limit. So this is a very cool tool. If you have not used it, it is worth digging into. And so what I have been trying to think of is, what is a multiplayer app that I can build that that isn't a chat app or a drawing app. I mean, it wasn't going to be a drawing app because I don't know how to make a drawing app. I have some like general ideas of what a drawing app would be, but this I don't think I have what I would need to make that work. Also, if you go to this homepage, you can play with this thing, and it's really fun. And like the more people who are on here, the more chaotic it can be. So it is definitely anyway. And this is all built with PartyKit, so you can see there are 9 people on the site right now, and apparently I'm the only one moving my mouse. But there's a couple more folks. There they are. There's another one. It's cool though, right? Hey, what's up, everyone? There we go. So yeah, you get these kind of cool like stained glass effects or polygon effects. Very fun, very cool. So anyways, let's see if we can make something out of this. So I want to what I had as an idea was I want to dive into some kind of like I want to do a hero thing like what we're seeing here. But I have a much sillier idea. And so my idea is I want to have like elements show up on the page the more people there are on the page. And my plan is to like increase the energy level of the thing that shows up on the page as you get more people involved. So the hope is that, it'll be really fun. People can go in and get 50 people on the page or something, and it just goes like full chaos. So let's give it a shot. Let's see what we can figure out. So I'm gonna use, what should I do here? I'm going to, and this is gonna deploy the server for me. I need a front end. Ultimately I have a big plan of doing this on my personal site. Like I'm starting to work on a redesign for Jason.energy. I did this site years ago at this point, and it makes me really happy. There's like a lot of fun in this site, and I'd love to find a way to kind of capture this this level of fun, but then sort of update it and modernize it and just have a little fun with some new tech, right? Because why not? That's what personal sites are for. So, okay, let me try to get any kind of energy going. Let me drink a little coffee. So what I'm thinking is I want to build a hero, and I want this to eventually be the hero on my site. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to get over here. Actually, why don't we npm create. I'm going to use Astro because eventually my site will be built in Astro, so we'll do an @latest. And let's call this We'll just do 4 devs, 1 app, multiplayer, real time. Make it empty. I do want the dependencies. Star jumps. I'm doing 0 star jumps. I refuse. Hi, Salma. Thank you so much for watching the video. F that logic. Great. Oh, at 4:04, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So okay. All right. I'm alive. I am going to function today. It's happening. Star jumps. You don't want to see me do star jumps. Like, this is not no, I'm not doing this. That sounds terrible. Okay. So let's make this happen. I'm going to get into my, do I want plan to write TypeScript? I do. Keep it strict. Initialize a new repo. Good. Let's go into this app. Okay. Oh, whoops. This one. And then we'll open this one up. Close this one. What? What's happening? Okay, so then in here, actually, why don't I move this over here? What is going on? I need to restart. What is it? Brew services, restart yabai. It's like just not working. Fine. Fine, you. So let me close this up. Skip this over here, kind of. Oh man, I am very dependent on that window manager. So okay, let's install this. I'm gonna npm install PartyKit. Great. And then to actually start this, we're going to create, let's create an actual folder. We'll call it server and index dot, can it do TS? Something fun is happening. Do you see how it's helping me? I hope it continues to help me. That's making me happy. It's like stealing my focus. Something is stealing my focus. Are you searching and nothing is there, or let's see. Learn more. How it works. Okay, so there is a JavaScript TypeScript API. Supports them out of the box. Okay, so something wasn't working in the search, but we're good. So let's go. All right, so let's kind of dig in here and make this work. I want, so the server implements party server, good, and then we're going to do what? Implements party server. Constructor. Okay, so let's just get out to the quick start here. And I need, back here. All right, so here's our basics where we've got a got a basic server, just kind of a ping pong. Okay, that's fine. We demand star jumps. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing star jumps. Way less fun things for work. I get it. I always like to try to do this stuff as a, like, I'm thinking about how this would work for a more like professional project. But I build it in the most absurd way possible to make myself laugh so that it's fun to keep going and learning. Oh, Dustin, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Rahul, what's up? Welcome from India. All right. So I think if I did this right, I don't really need the message or the request, but maybe it will. What are you mad about? It's just like one of those party WebSocket. Got to figure out what is stealing my focus because it's driving me up a wall. Okay. Building a WebSocket server. You can just do an empty, so this is an empty one. Accepts WebSocket connections by default. Then on the client side, we get the party socket, we do stuff, send messages, and then we get an event listener. Okay. All right, so let's just work through this because this seems like a good kind of hello world here. So we've got a client TS. Let's put that on our home page. And I'm going to do it with just plain old JavaScript for now. And we will import party socket from, oh, I need to install party socket. Then I will equals new party socket. We'll get the host. Host is going to be, what is stealing my focus? This is killing me. All right, I'm closing things. I don't know what's going on, but it is making me unhappy. Everything goes down. Go away. Leave me alone. Okay. The only thing that's, oh, look at that. Now my thing works. Something must have gone wrong. That seems odd that it did that. Okay, so now you're unhappy, cannot find party socket or its corresponding module type declarations. I don't believe you, so let's go here. And then we're going to set this one up. And this one, we're going to say npx party kit dev. And that's going to go server index.ts. Oh, did I need to add a name for it? Okay. So we've got star jumps are like jumping jacks where you jump up and down and do this with your hands and then move your feet in and out. It's calisthenics. Not for me. Who's got time to exercise? Not me. I'm kidding. I go to the gym like twice a week. Trying to go 3 times a week, but man, that is hard. All right, so I've started this. It's on localhost 1999. Then we're going to go with a room, and we're going to call this, let's call it 41A. And then we will send a test and add a event listener. Okay, so if I did that right, then this should be running. And if I go to localhost 4321, we get some Pong. Okay, so that's good. That means that it is sending these messages back, right? So if we go back to our server, once there is a message, it just responds with the message. Okay, great. So why don't we also console log the message. And reload this page. And this should send, there's our message. Okay. All right. So we're doing a little bit of real time here. So we're hitting the PartyKit server. We are sending messages back to the browser. And now I just need to figure out a little bit more about what is happening here. So the next thing that we want to do is, let's see. So here is our on message is, okay, so the message itself is a string. And the, oh wait, sender? Get PartyKit connections. Okay, so something, I'm going to assume this one is probably, let's go. We're going to make that work. So here we go. We're going to do party connection. Okay. And so then send the message to all connected clients. Okay, we can do that. So for const con of this party get connections. Make this just a little bit bigger so I can actually see what's going on. Then if con ID does not equal sender ID. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are saying when a message comes in, find everybody connected to this site that is not the person sending the message, and then send them this message, right? Party does not exist on type server. I don't believe you. Implements party server. Oh, I need a constructor. And now you work. Okay. So apparently this is just to type the thing. All right, so now we've got a mostly happy on message. There we go. Okay. I'm okay with this. Let's try it. So then when I come down here, we run the thing. Let's take that part out. And then if I open up another window, this is a incognito window, then what I should see is if we open this up, there we go. Look at that. So as we reload the page, we get notes from each connection. So you can see the connection ID here, and you can see that it's different, and it looks like it's updating every time, which is fine. If we wanted it to be consistent, we would do something more like use Clerk or some other auth system so that we could hook to the connection by their email or their permanent user ID or something like that. But for this project, we don't actually care. We don't need a login or anything. We just need to know how many people are present. So this is getting us pretty close here. All right, so then the next thing I want to do is I want to minimize that for now. We'll come back to that later. I'm going to close this up, and I'm going to go back over to the PartyKit site. And now that we've got these messages, so we don't even need to do this. We can just do this party broadcast and say message and then pass in the sender ID. Okay, so that's actually better. That feels clean because this is cool and all, but it was like a lot of code that it's nice to not have to do that. So let's open this up again. And if I reload, we get test. Heyo. Head over here. Look at the console. Reload. Test. Okay, cool. All right, so we're making progress. So next, we want to connection events. So this is the other piece that I want. There is a new connection event here, and this is what I'm really curious about because I need to set this up. I need to set this up so that when somebody joins, we're going to do something on the screen, right? So I need to, we'll probably start simple here and get like a count, and then we'll start playing. So we can go with connection send. Okay, so I don't really need to do this part because I'm not going to keep that for very long. And then we have this party broadcast. And connection.id, and then out here we also do connection.id. All right, anything else happening here? And then we've got an on close. So when somebody leaves, we're going to send another message as well. So this party broadcast. Connection.id left. Okay, so this should, theoretically, we'll see. New connection, good. And then when I bring this one in, it should say left and joined. Okay, so good. This means that as people are leaving and joining, we're going to get a notification that people are on the page or off the page, so on and so forth. What's up, Nikki? How you doing? And then what happens? We're going to, let's just keep going through this onboarding. I like this. It's authentication. All right, so I don't think I'm going to mess with authentication, but Let's see here. Active user avatars, connection counter. So this is kind of this is like a basic thing. We can just see how this works and play with it a little bit. So we've got our client. So here's our party kit. Where's our party socket stuff? So here's our party socket. All right, so we've got our party socket. We are adding an event listener. I don't really need the open. Okay, so what do we have in here? Let's look at this code a little bit bigger. So we've got, maybe I should just start from the get-go here. Let's go to main. This is not used in this example. Then we've got a page. And the page. So we're using a global counter ID. Okay, that's fine. So we have on request. What? Counterparty updates this by sending HTTP requests. Maybe I should look at this demo before. Oh, this is different than what I thought it was. Okay, so that's fine. So I think what I want instead is actually just a list of the connected users. So why don't you think this is here? Like, you definitely exist. Do I need to put this outside? Oops. Okay, well, it's doing what I want, but I really do want those types because I want to be able to explore it. Why don't you have... Like, is it a problem with... what am I doing? Reload window. Got it now. Okay, so something was just kind of messed up. So let's npm run dev. And then you are running, so we can go in here. And now what I want is I just want to see like what my options are. So let's go to party socket, and then we can see reconnect, room URL. There's more to this. Send should reconnect. Okay, so I want to see what's in room. Room is just a name. So let's go with on message, no open, reconnect. Okay, so maybe what I want then is in the server. we can get a, can we just get a count? We're going to go with this party dot get connections, and this returns back an iterable so I can't can I just force it? Let's see. Okay, so then we've got our connection, and we want to party broadcast, and we will stringify connection count. And then do I need to send the without? Okay, but this is not without. We do want to include them because we want that counter to update everywhere. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And now on our home page, I want to add event listener message. We're going to say, let's see, message equals JSON parse data. Okay. Then up here, we can do something like, we'll just do a paragraph for now. There are span ID, connection count. We'll default it to 0. I guess it would be 1 because you would be looking at it by default. Okay, there are 1 connected users, and then we're going to update this by saying if message con count, we will const counter is going to be document get element by ID, and then we'll do counter dot inner text will be message dot con count. Okay, so then that's not working. Counter dot inner text is not a function. Are you sure though? Type string. You are not a string. You do exist. Why do you think? Oh, because it's set like this, not like that. 2 connected users. Okay, cool. So that's getting us closer. And now we can try. I mean, shit. Why don't we just deploy this? Let's deploy it and see how far we can go. So I'm going to stop here, and then let's deploy it to Netlify. So here is our setup. And this is all just kind of basic stuff. So git add everything. We've got csconfig. That's TypeScript stuff. Probably don't want the party kit stuff. Let's get, oh yeah, we don't want the party kit stuff. So let's get reset, and then I'm going to echo party kit into get ignore. Try again, and now we have get ignore, VS Code extensions, readme. Okay, nothing we don't need. So let's git commit and say show connection count. Good, and then I'm going to put, or I guess I'm going to need to GitHub repo create. We're going to push this one up to the Learn with JSON org. And there it goes. Okay, so then let's deploy this site. Going to create and configure a new site. We're going to put it on my team. We will call this 4D1A multiplayer real time. And npm run build. It's got all the Astro bits, so we don't need to mess with it. I don't need a netlify.toml. And okay, so let's get that pushed. And then if I open this, and honestly, it should be deployed before I get there. Here it is. Okay, so now everybody go visit this site real quick, and we should see connection counts update as everybody joins. So I'm going to open an incognito window while I do that. Open it over here. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, I need to deploy my server. So we need to deploy our Netlify stuff, or our party kit stuff. And I need to remember how that works. So let's go back over here to party kit. And we're going to deploy a party kit server. We just run npx party kit deploy. It does not get simpler than that. Npx party kit deploy. And do I have to specify the... No, let's see what happens. Missing entry point. Please specify main. Okay, so... No, okay, that's not it. Let's go with help. And we needed the file name. Config var define with env. Path to the project. Okay. For D1A player multiplayer real time. You know what just happened in my brain? You watch The Fifth Element. It's multipass. Lelo Dallas multipass. Okay, so this is deployed. Yes? Provisioning. And then that means I need to set this up. Okay, so then that means we need an environment variable, or for the sake of keeping things simple right now, I'm just going to feature deploy, let's see, use live party kit server, and then we'll figure out how to do the environment variables in a minute. Okay, so that should build pretty quick. I don't know that it would be. I think it would be exactly the same. Let's see. Oops, not that one. This one. There we go. We're partying. So this is pretty slick, y'all. Like we got this running, kind of. And then as people leave, let's see. Wait, which one is this? Do I have another window open? I do. Okay, so then as I close, we're getting our, okay. So this is giving me what I want. And now I just want to update this a little bit so that we can, so we'll keep the counter. I want the counter. But then I want to start putting things on the screen. Like as you do stuff, I want to put more stuff on the screen. So the more people, more chaos is really what I'm after here. So let's start going that way. Go npm run dev. When do we get to do the CSS? Once we've got the logic running. And I think the logic is going to go pretty quickly from here, because now that we've got the connection, it's more just responding to those connections than anything else. Let's see. So then we're going to, let's see, npx party kit dev server index. Okay, so that's running. So now we can go to localhost 4321, and I'm going to switch it back to my localhost 1999, and we need to fix that for real. Let's see. What are we building today? We are building a real-time multiplayer hero section for an app. No joke. So let's do this. So now that we've got this kind of set up here, we don't need to send anymore. So we are adding an event listener for a message. When we get a message, let's go into the server here. And then really, I guess what we also want is, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to close that. Don't really need that. Let's get this piece and this piece. And so we'll just, we're duplicating logic a little bit, but basically whenever somebody joins or leaves, we want to send the updated count. And then what I need is I want to be able to, actually, can I just set, how does this work? I forget how JavaScript classes work. If I just want to set a value, I set them in the constructor. And just set them right here. Okay, so what I want is, we're going to go with count is 0. And then we're going to, instead of this count equals. Okay. So now what we're doing is we're pulling the count out like that. That should mean that we have the ability. So no Netlify service is running the WebSocket server. That's PartyKit. So PartyKit runs. Let's see if I can find the. PartyKit is what's actually hosting it, which under the hood is running Cloudflare. So that's the WebSocket part, and then I'm deploying the front end, which is a static Astro site to Netlify. You can also deploy to PartyKit like the static stuff. Ultimately, I'm not going to do that because I run my personal site on Netlify and I don't really want to change it. So I'm going to keep the static parts on Netlify, and I'll keep the WebSocket stuff on PartyKit. So let's see. So I've got my count here. Let me make sure that's actually working. We'll come out here, 1 connected users, 2 connected users. Great. Okay, so that's doing what we want. Then what I want is when we send. Wait, how did that? This has to be broken because that couldn't have possibly worked. Okay, trying again. 1, 2. Okay. And then if you leave. One connected users. 2 connected users. Perfect. Okay. So that's doing what I want. Now, if I get the count, so we're sending back the connection count. And then on the client side, I want to check the connection count. Actually, why don't we'll flip this the other way. If there's not a message connection count, we're just going to return. And then down here, we can do all of our logic. So the other piece that I want here is I want, let's add a div up here. And this div is going to be, we'll give it a, I don't know, class, whatever. We're going to call this hero. And make that a section. And then inside of it, we're going to add our stuff. So when something comes in, we're going to add another thing. And then we'll play with that a little bit to figure out exactly how that's going to work. But I think what we'll want to do is probably make the hero a certain size, and then we'll position things in a way that kind of randomizes their position and fills the space. Let's give that a shot. So whenever we get one of these, we're going to say we're also going to get the hero element, and that will be a document.query selector for hero. I don't love that I've mixed my IDs and not IDs, so I'm just going to switch that out to be an ID or a class as well. Now everything matches, and I don't want to scream and cry. Why are you... Inner text does not exist on type element. I don't believe you. Okay, then we have the hero element. So we're going to need to create a thing. And the way we can create that thing is we can do like a template. I'm going to have to look this up. HTML template. And inside of a template, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. So what I want to do is get, we're going to call this one, we'll call it a thingy for now, and then we'll figure it out later. But okay, so for now, we're going to give it just a little class of thingy, and then down here just so that they are visible, we'll add some CSS, and we'll do the thingy. Will be display block, aspect ratio of 1, height of, I don't know, we'll go with 1 rem, and a background color of red. That should give us a little square box. So if it's working, we'll be able to see it. And then I need to get this thing. So we're going to get our template, document, query selector, and that was a thingy. Okay. Then we're going to get our actual thingy, will be template, content, clone, no. Clone node is true. Template is possibly null. As HTML template. So then we have our thingy and we have our hero element. So let me move this up, kind of contextually group things. So we're going to set our counter inner text. Let me make this bigger so we can actually see what's going on. So we've got our counter is just the span. Then we're getting our template, which is our template element, which is up here. And that's going to give us a div. Then we get a copy of that div. So we're just cloning it, making sure that we've got a new instance of it. And then we have our hero element. So after we have updated the connection count, we are going to hero element. Oh, you know what I need to do is I'm probably going to have to like add an attribute to each one of these with the connection ID so that they can disappear when, okay, so we can do that. That's fine. So what we're going to do is we will get the data, so the connection count. So let's open up the server again. And in addition to the connection count, we're going to get the ID. I'm just going to call this count. And the ID is going to be connection ID. Okay, so now what we'll get is a count and an ID. And when I go out to my index.astro, this is going to be the count. And then we're going to say thingy data set. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. Thingy data set. But that's right. Data list? No, data set. How do I set one? I would like to set my so you can set them. Okay, so I'm going to dataset dot ID, and that's going to be message.id. Does not exist on type node. Why wouldn't you exist as a... How about that? Just start a fight with TypeScript at all times. Okay, so we're going to need a little logic to determine whether or not the thing is being removed or added, but that's okay. So we're going to then add this. So we'll say hero element append child thingy. And then, theoretically speaking, we should have Okay, so that's not working, which means we got errors, and the errors that we've got are cannot set properties of undefined setting ID. Template content clone node. Why don't we console log thingy and see what we're getting into? Document fragment. Okay, okay. Cannot set proper. First child. Has child nodes. Oh, I've done this before, and it gets me every time. So let's get back to the templates. Clone 2. Template content. So you gotta like select inside. Okay. That feels messy. Content, and so you're a node. You can just be a node, that's fine. And then we'll say thingy is going to be thingy content query selector thingy. What? I don't believe you, though. Okay, so now this should work. Yes. Okay, so here is our setup, and if I close this, we should be able to see we've got our div, and then if I open up this one, we should get a second div. We do. What's happening? Okay, so I'm doing something wrong. Data ID. And they're all different. So we are going to need to preserve IDs somehow, because otherwise this is going to be a mess. Or I guess probably it won't be once I fix this thing. So let's go into on connect. We'll do a type of join, and here we'll do a type of leave. Okay, so then if I make this bigger, go into the index.astro, and we'll say if message type join, then we want to do all this stuff. If message type is leave, then what we want to do instead, well, we want to update this no matter what. So that stays as is. But here I want to remove is going to be hero L query selector, and then we'll do data ID and put in the message ID. Okay. So then we're going to hero L remove child and get rid of it. So I think this will work at least. Let's test it. So nope. Failed to execute query selector on element. Data ID is not a valid selector. Do I have to quote it? Whoops. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's not doing what I want. And it is failing. Failed to execute remove child on node. Parameter 1 is not of type node. Damn it. Okay. Okay. So let's get remove child and figure out how to actually make this work. A node, but how do I find the node? So you get element by ID. Is it really going to make me get the element by ID? I don't understand. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so MDN query selector return node. Where has anybody seen this before? Parent node query selector. Yeah, but I want you to give me query selector versus get elements by class name. This is going to make me do like a get elements by attribute or something. Does that work? No. Where are the methods? Get attribute. So what I'm attempting to do here is I need to run a remove child, but I need to do it by a data attribute. And it is, I guess I could just set the ID. Like maybe the easiest thing to do here is to keep it nice and simple instead of trying to be magical. Let's get element by ID, and then we'll just put the ID in. And now it's a node. Get element by ID does not exist on type element. Oh, this is brutal. Is it a good idea to make a website with Astro when there's some part the dynamic is a super rule? Yeah, it definitely is. I have a whole video on this that I can share with you. Whoops, copy this. Yeah, so this, I know this works. Element inherits properties from its parent interface, but I'm so confused by remove child not taking the output of a query selector. Like that seems like it would almost certainly work. So let's do. I just don't believe you that doesn't exist. I'm just going to try to run this and see what happens. Get element by ID is not a function. What the heck? So query selector is like dumping us off into a different place that we don't want to be, which isn't really what I want. So why don't we... That'll give us a node. Cannot read properties of null. Get element by ID is not a function. How on earth? What am I doing here? I have done this before. Like, I have code that has done this. Let's go to my GitHub and try to find it. Let's see. Randomized animations. That's probably the one I want to look at because I have done this before. So the heart okay, I know what this is. Okay. So here's what happened. We go heart template. So we get the template, then we get the content, and then instead of cloning the whole template, we get the first element child. Oh, man. What a gotcha. Okay. So then first element child. Okay, so then I'm not going to mess with that. So we've got our thingy. And then data set ID. Also frustrating that nodes why don't nodes have access to the things that I need them to have access to? Like, what is happening? So thingy is a node. And if I look in here, it's got all of these pieces. So we can set text content. And child. So frustrating. Okay, so let me just try this real quick and see if it immediately explodes. Yes, it doesn't like that part. And the hero element should be hero element. Get element by ID does not exist on type element. Also, just absolutely does not make sense to me. So do one of these, do one of these. Not a valid selector. That makes sense. Data ID. And that won't be a node. Parameter 1 is not of type node. Oh my God. So that means like what? Is there a way for me to just like remove? Okay, so that's not failing, but it's definitely not doing what we want. Console log to remove. That's coming back null, and the reason it's coming back null is because we need to set this. And that's not working. And these are getting a data. So they are getting the data ID, but it's coming back undefined, which is interesting. Why is it coming back undefined? Type leave, type join. Okay, so we're missing our connection ID. I had a freaking typo. Oh boy. Well, that's 40 minutes I won't get back. Okay, so let's. I mean, this is doing what we want though, right? We get our 2 connected users. However, why isn't it sending it to all of our users? Because it should pull up. It's got a count, and for some reason it's not doing that. And I don't really want to try to blow these away every time. But I do want, let's see. Nope, that's not the one. I want this one. Okay, so we are getting all of our details here. And then we don't need to log this message anymore. We don't need to log the element anymore. Then we just fake it, make that work. because it does work. Okay, so then the other piece that I need to do here is if I get all of my connections, I think I'm going to have to do this differently. So let's look at our connections. Console log this party get connections. Okay. So we should get on every load our connections. And that's the iterator. Okay. So then for const con of this party get connections, we want to console log con ID. And that gives us different connections. Okay, so here are our two IDs. So we should theoretically be able to put these into a list. Probably a better way to do that, but it's probably fine for now. And then instead of sending the connection count, we should send connections, and that's going to be con IDs. Okay, but I need that to be available in both of these. So we can do it like that instead. A lot of duplicate code happening here. We'll have to clean this up later and figure out exactly how we want to do it, but this is getting us closer. And yes. I'm glad it's not just me. Okay, so then if we've got all these pieces in here, we've got our connection IDs, okay, and then I'm going to have to, I need to send back this .con IDs. Then when I get out to my client page, instead of doing one for each of these, what I should probably do is like iterate over them and see if I can find it and then delete anything that doesn't match. Oh, boy, I don't even know how to. I mean, I know how to do that, but I don't know exactly. Because I don't really want to like rebuild this list every time, because I also want them to be randomized, and if we rebuild the list every time, it'll get way too chaotic, because every time somebody leaves or joins, it'll like pop one in and out, and that seems bad. So instead, what's the right move here? Anybody solved this problem before? Got somewhere I should look at? Because what I want to do here is I'm building this list out, right? And let's see, this isn't doing what I want either, which means we're getting our list of connection IDs, and are we getting duplicates? We are getting duplicates. That's interesting. So I need to make this into a set, maybe? And then we'll set up add, remove, is it? Set, and then delete and add. Yeah. So delete. Okay. Connections. Maybe I need to do like values. What? I said it right. Oh. IDs. Values. Okay. So that's better. That's getting us our unique list of IDs, so we can only add it once. Am I pre-optimizing? I don't think I'm pre-optimizing. I'm just trying to get this damn thing to work. So I want a single list here that doesn't have duplicates so that I can get my thingies to show up on the screen. And so I'm getting my thingies to show up on the screen, but we're getting a mixed list here, and I can't figure, let's see. You are so if this is my list of connections, why am I only getting one? I guess maybe I need to loop through the connections like this. And so this is kind of where I'm getting stuck here is I need my list of thingies. So, I mean, let's just mark this up like how it would be, right? So we have our div, and then that has a data ID, and that ID will just do something like 1, right? And then we get a 2 and a 3. And so my connection list is 1, 2, 3. Whenever somebody joins, we want to add them to the list. So that would be 4. And then whenever somebody leaves, we want to remove them from the list. So what I need is a way to iterate over the list and make sure that we're adding something for everybody in the list if it doesn't already exist. And then when somebody leaves, we really just need to get rid of the one that left. So I think that means this logic is okay, because this logic is finding the ID of the person who left and then removing that one. This logic is not okay, because this logic is only adding one thing. So we need to message connections. And then we're going to for each over those. And we're going to get an ID. And then for each ID, we need to see if it exists. So is going to be document query selector data ID ID. And then if the element does not exist, we are going to do a thingy dataset ID equals ID, and then we will add it append child thingy. Okay, so then theoretically speaking, what that means is that when we load the page, we have our connections. Oh, that didn't work. Message.connections.forEach is not a function, but it should be. Console log message.connections. And that's coming back as an object. That doesn't seem right. That seems like I did something wrong. Connections. This ID values. This returns an iterable. Can I just to array? Of course not. Values. How about now? Okay, so if that, see, but it's still not working. Because I'm getting this array. Con IDs. Oh wait, I don't want to delete all of them. I just want to delete the one. Right? Okay, so that looks more promising, but then I'm still only getting... what am I doing wrong here? On join, are we getting the entire list? That is a great question. On connect, we should be getting the entire list. And just to double check that, let's log the connection.id and also the this con IDs values. I guess we need to spread that. Oh, I guess that one would be over here, wouldn't it? Yeah, so the connection ID is showing up in the list, but it's not being picked up, and it's not being picked up because I'm doing what wrong? Because that means that here, when we're connecting, we have the full list. So this is the full list. which we are then sending back, right? Then here we get this list, which we are logging, and it shows us 2. And then it's supposed to loop over each of these. Okay, so you're missing... Yeah, there's no element. And this one finds 1. And here, it finds... Do I need to make a fresh clone? I think I need to make a fresh clone each time. There's the bug. I was reusing the same element and changing its ID. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now when I close and I open, we get the things. Okay, good. All right. Fart. Cool. So this then is getting us closer. And then the piece that I want to do next is, how are we doing on time? We're halfway through. What's up, Dashifukan? I hope that's tequila in that cup. It's not, but I got the scotch back here that we'll see. We'll see how today goes. Okay. Let's keep rolling here and see if we can get... let's do a little bit of styling and just try to get this to look a bit nicer, because I think the next thing I want to do is start doing the positioning so that when people join, it will... Let's see, let's get this out of here. I'm actually gonna put this span inside. Okay, so this is our general setup. Let's collapse this down for a minute. We're gonna get the hero, and I want this to be display flex. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're gonna place content center. We're going to go with a background of, let's go with a light gray. Okay, let's give it a height of 100 dvh, right? Then, okay, so we need a little bit more going on here. I'm gonna do some global styles that we'll clean this up later, because I'm probably going to have a layout, but I'm not going to mess with that just yet. So let's go with everything is going to be box sizing, border box. I want my HTML to be the system font. And then I want the body to have no margin. Okay. So let's actually go with a min of... Well, this is fine. We'll just go with like an 80. Okay, so this is going to be our setup, and then I want my count. We're going to set this to position absolute, and we'll go with a inset block end of one rem, and an inset inline start of one rem. What just happened? Oh, right. We need to make this one position relative. And actually, I think I want to do that the other way. There we go. So top right corner. So then we want to position our thingies. And the way I want to position the thingies is going to be... Will this go up on GitHub? It's actually already up on GitHub. Let me... I'll commit where we are now so that anybody who wants it can see it. Work in progress. Let's like showing thingies on connection. Oh, whoops. And we're looking for the 4 devs, 1 app, multiplayer, real time. So there is your setup there. And actually, this should be working now if we head over to the site. So 4D1A multiplayer. No. This one. So if everybody wants to go hit this site, we will actually get live counts and updating blocks. No, we won't, because I got to set up the... Oh, man. Okay, so that part is definitely annoying, because I need to fix this, where our script is getting the wrong thing. What was it is the real question here. So let's... where's my deploy command? Here? No. Deploy? npx party kit deploy. Oops. Deploy. And I think we went with... this. Okay, so then if I set this here, so let's push, go over here. This should build in just a couple of seconds. Okay, so now if we get out here and load, there we go. As everybody joins, you get the count and the thingies, right? So this is what I wanted to do. I'm happy about this. This is good. What I want to do next is style this up a bit. Actually, why don't we fix this part, because this is becoming annoying. So if I want to use just a plain old environment variable in here, will it let me do that? So let's go with Astro public. Is that right? Public party kit URL. And on mine, it should be 1999. And that would mean that in here, I want want this to be import.env, import.meta.env, Astro public party kit URL. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up, I think, because I don't actually think that's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a shot. So let's go in here. This one is gonna run there, and this one is gonna npx party kit dev. Okay. All right, and that's not working because I typoed. Okay. Getting a console error, and that console error is cannot read properties of undefined, which leads me to believe that what I thought I was doing here. Okay, so that's not working. Let's go to the Astro docs and figure out what I did wrong. I think I have to do something special with these to get them to do the thing I'm after. Let's go environment variables. Getting environment variables. Oh, you just have to prefix with public, not Astro public. Okay, so let's fix that. It's just public. And then we fix it out here as public. And that's still not working. And the reason that it's, oh, it is working. Okay, great. So that does what I want. So now if I go in here and I go to my deploy settings, I can add a single variable. We're going to go public party kit URL, and I don't need this for functions, don't need it for forms, don't need it for post-processing, and we're just going to set that to this value here. Okay. So now that I've created that, the next time we build, this should actually build right away without me having to fix the thing. So let's test it. So I'm running locally and I'm getting the result I want. Okay, great. Happy there. So let's stop this. Let's git commit and say feature use envar for party kit URL, push, and this should finish pretty fast. How long are these taking? About 20 seconds? Yeah. Okay, so you should be done. And now it's actually working. Okay, great. So perfect. We are getting the outcome that we want. We've got the live server when we deploy. We've got the local server when we're working locally, and we're happy. We're in good shape. And now I need to go restart my server. Okay. So local server is doing what I want. We've got the thingy is doing the thingy. So I need to style this just a little bit. And I think maybe the way we want to do this to start is, because what I want is, like, as more and more things, as more and more people open the page, I want the intensity of the things to go up, like higher energy, right? So that's sort of the game I want to play. And I think maybe the way that we can do that to start is we will... I guess we could do like a color blend. We can use the color mix function. And the way we will do that is well, let's just style them up a little bit first. So we'll go with like a border radius of 50%, make them round. Let's give them a gap of 1 rem. And what's that going to do? We probably want like, let's make these a little bit bigger. We'll give them like a 3 rem. Okay, so then out here we will go with a grid template columns, and we will say repeat auto fit 3 rem. Okay, so now what should happen is as people join, we should just get like a big list of these, and it'll wrap and all that stuff. So we'll just kind of fill the screen. We'll go back and fix that later and make it do more. But I think for now, it's visible that they're separate things. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to set, let's set a variable, because I'm going to mess with this variable. And we'll say we're going to go with the color calm is going to be a blue, and the color energy is going to be a red. And let's go to this cool site called OKLCH, and let's just look for a good one. So I want to find a good... Just move this until we get to a blue. Okay. And get over here, right? And you can just start kind of like putting these together. And let's go with like a more calm blue. So this is going to be our blue. And this is going to be our... Let's go with our higher energy. That works. Okay. So then what I want to do is I want to, we'll go with circle color is going to be color mix. And by default, what we want to do is get color calm. And, oh, I guess I need to include the NOKLCH. So we're going to start with the color calm, and then we're going to go with the energy. I don't know what these are going to mix like, but it should be pretty funny. And by default, we're going to go with 0, right? So make that a little bigger. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these two colors, and then we're going to mix them together using CSS. And the more of this percentage we include, the more of this color we're going to see. So by default, it's 0. And what I want to do is update this based on how many people are connected. So let's get this applied. Background color is going to be circle color. Let me get rid of this one. And then out here, we should see There we go. There's our blue thingies. So let's take this down. Let's take this down to like just about nothing. Where was my blue? So there's my blue. We can turn the chroma way down, turn the lightness up, and we get a pretty solid color there. So let's go with that as our background color. Why did that copied weird? Okay. So then down here, we set the color background, and now we've got, oh, that is impossible to see, isn't it? Why don't we add a border? Okay, so now we should be able to see these. Great. So that's looking good. Happy about that. And now we've got our connections cause dots, and I want, we need to determine a percentage based on like what is the most energy, right? And I would say probably for today, we want our most energy to be probably 10, because what we want is, how would we do this? We would get, oh, you know what we need to do? We actually need to do this mix down here. We need to do this mix down here because we're going to set this percentage as a variable. Color mix percent. And that is going to be set by default to 0. But then what I want to do is let's go into here. And we will say thingy style how do I do this? Can I just set it to be a string? Color mix percent, is that what I called it? Color mix percent. And let's set it for now manually. Style because it is read only. Okay, so that doesn't work. Okay, so MDN, let's see, set CSS var from JavaScript. Style set property, okay. Hey, look at that. Okay, so now we've got the ability to set this based on our... So we can set this based on the number of people who are in there, and the way that we're going to determine that is, let's see, let's just do some math up here. So if 10 people is our max, then we would want the current number of people divided by 10, and then we multiply that by 100. Okay. So our color mix percentage is going to be message count divided by 10 times 100 plus so we also probably want to do a math max so it can only get to 100%, and that should turn it into a string, and then we drop it in here, so mix percent. Okay, and if I'm right, and our mix percent is being set to 100%. That doesn't seem right because I need the math min, not math max. Okay. All right, let's deploy this and try it out. Number of connections. So we can push. This will build in about 20 seconds. Okay. All right, so we're live, and now if we reload, okay, so get as many people as we can in here, and let's see if we can get to 10. We need 3 more people to join up. Oh, 8, 9, 10. Hey, look at us go. Oh, this is cool. You see that? It's like keeping the original. That's actually even better because that makes this really, this is cool. So as you join, it'll keep the colors like depending on the energy level. So I could set that to like fix, you know, each one as it goes, but I'm kind of into this. This looks cool. It gives it a nice like little gradient effect. All right, that's a little unexpected bonus. So this is cool though, right? Like this is a cool little setup. And so the more people that are joined, let me grab this and we'll just open up an incognito window, open up another incognito window, right? And just keep it going. So like, this is pretty slick. I'm very happy with this because this is doing what I wanted it to do. Like it gives us the real interactivity. We've got the user count. We've got the sort of response to the number of people here. And then as we start bailing, we should see, yeah. So if people want to start closing that window, then that will, should start getting us back down to the other colors. So there's our 10. And then as it goes down to 8, and now everything is orange. So it's definitely not like consistent. We could probably fix that by, instead of calculating that right here, we could potentially calculate that on our connection. So we can make this a map instead and put in the ID and the, we could use the user's index. So the the color mix percent will stay at 100% if there are 10 or more people in. But when it gets lower, so 10 is our max, right? So our math on this is that 10 is the most energetic according to this math. But we could, if I thought I was going to have way more people, we could set it to 50 or something and see how that goes. It will need to be more dynamic than it is right now. Yes, that is definitely the plan. And so one of the ways that we could make that work is, let's see. So we could set to the energy level that they were at when they joined and just hold that there, which would be kind of fun. And then when people leave and stuff, we should probably do, in and out animations. That could be kind of fun. Actually, you know what we might be able to do? That'll be basically free if it's Astro stuff. Where's my Astro? Here. View transitions. So we don't need to control page nav, but what I want is to just get these elements. So I think to do that, we just have to give this a transition name. I don't know how to do this actually, because I don't know if I feel like that's not actually going to work. Let's see what happens. Oh wait, I need to be on my local server for this. Let me start this up. Then if I take this one, yeah, I don't think that's doing what I want. The view transition stuff I think is, I don't know if it's going to work with the templates the way I want it to. I think I'd have to do something different. Every remaining color needs to be set whenever someone leaves. How do you mean? Like when somebody leaves, we recalculate and update everybody's energy level? Why don't we try, so here's what I think we can do. Let me close this one. And let's make this one bigger. And what I would like to do is let's update this to a map. Then I need to go look up how maps work. Can I set these to be objects because that's kind of what I want? Oh, this will actually simplify though, because what it would mean is that we would be able to say, all right, so why don't we take this back to a set and then let's do it this way. We'll do this one as a map and then we'll refactor out the old stuff. Is that going to mess with it? It shouldn't. I think we'll be fine. So in here, what I want to do is, let's see, we don't need those anymore. So on connect, we want to, this connections set connection.id or no, we do want to do it. We do want to do it down here. So we're going to do it like this. Con ID. And then we need to set a value. And the value we're going to set is going to be, actually, let's go like this. Let's go const percent. And that will be this connection's size divided by 10 times 100 and then we'll add the percentage. Okay, so then this is going to be the percent. So we have the key, which is our connection ID, and the like energy level, which is the percent. Okay, so then that'll persist it for the given connection. So then we want to send the connections back instead. And with this one, we want to do connections.delete. And we still want to delete the connections ID. Okay, so this should work as expected. We don't need that bit anymore. Which means we can get rid of that. And then if we head back out to our Astro bit, we're going to get the message connections. And the message connections actually going to be interesting to see what we get. Let's just look. We get back values is not the game. We want entries. Because then we get the ID and the percent. So that means when we come back out here, we get so the reason that I'm multiplying or dividing by 10 and multiplying by 100 is actually, why don't I just clarify that a little bit? So if we set up a max energy, I hate that, energy level is 10, but we might change this later to be, 40 or something. So then in here, we're figuring out how close they are to the max energy level by how many people are connected to the site, and then we're turning it into a percentage. So that's my reasoning for doing it like that. What's up, American? And then, okay, so then we're sending back the connections entries, and then in here we get back our connections, and so each of these is going to send back both an ID and a what's it called, a percent, which is a string. And that's not working because that's not how TypeScript works. Okay, so then we have our ID, And then down here, we can turn off this, and we're going to set the percent here. And theoretically speaking, whenever somebody joins, we should get their updated level. So these come at 10%. Let's do another one. Did this crash? Maybe I had maximum connections or something. So it doesn't seem like it's doing what I want, right? Because it's blowing away all the elements every time, which is not what I was after. I'm after, well, I guess anytime you refresh the page, so these then should be less, and this one comes in. Okay, so that is doing what I want. It pulls in each one, and then as people join and leave, they'll get new amounts. But this one, it does so seem like this should be getting the updated percent or the correct percent. So why don't you? Because you should be stored here. And then if I update this one, that keeps 1. Yeah, but these should be set to the blue. So oh no, because I'm doing it on every join. So let's go back to the server. And so when you join, we want to okay, so if I actually take this out and instead I take this part, this part here, and I do just the connection ID, and we figure out the percent separately, like this. Does this do what I want? It does. Okay. So this isn't blowing away my whole list every time. So when somebody joins, we put them into the connections map, and we're not replacing everybody in the map with a new percentage. So you'll persist your original percentage, which means that, like, for these, not perfect, but it's okay. What happens if number 2 leaves? You go down to 1. Real-time multiplayer, that is what we're working on here, is this sort of multi-browser support. Let's give this a shot. Let's get it, and we'll say update colors. All right, so that's building. All right, so that is live. So now, oops, if we, whoa. Did I screw something up? Oh, you know what I did? Because we didn't set a default if it was empty, so everybody who's in there now is getting a 0 or an undefined, which is breaking the color. So anybody who's currently got it open, if you refresh, that will start fixing these colors, or it won't. What are we getting here? What's going on? Color mix percent 3, D 6. That seems wrong. What did I forget? What did I forget to save? Was this, wait, was this working at some point and I just got confused, or? Okay, that's working. So let's deploy it again. Okay, so back over here, 20 seconds. Now, if we try again, what is happening? I didn't deploy the PartyKit server. PartyKit deploy server index, and the name was there we go. Forgot to deploy PartyKit. So look at that. There we go. And this is doing the thing that we wanted. We're getting the sort of gradient thing, and as people join and leave, we get like they stay persistent. So as I'm joining and leaving, my number is updating, or my color is updating, but everybody else is still set on the PartyKit server. So this is cool, because what this means is that like you'll be able to do interesting things when I start actually getting into the whatever this actually does, like, you know, pulsing or you know, moving around. It means that we'll get some randomness by virtue of how many people joined at different times and like what energy level we're at when they join, because this one will be low energy, this one will be high energy, and these will all be kind of in the middle. So it won't just be like the whole thing is synced at full energy. It'll be mixed of the 10 people joining, right? Pretty dope, everyone. I feel pretty good about that. How do y'all feel about that? Yeah, it did what we want. There's a lot that I still want to do here. So I think like my big plan is to try and figure out how to make this like a little more delightful. I have, well, right now, okay, so how do you know who you are? Right now, you don't. So what we could do if we wanted to make it so that you knew which of these was yours is we could tie to like your ID, and if the current connection matches, we could, give it an extra border or something to make it easier for you to see. The vision that I have for this doesn't do that. Like, I have a plan. It's going to be a bit of a surprise. You'll see it when I drop the 4 devs 1 app episode of where I want to take this. But the goal will be more that, like, the more people who are looking, the more interesting it will become is the plan. And that's the plan here. So this is, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with how quickly this came together. I'm happy with the outcome that we're getting here. Is obviously what we built is fairly rudimentary. Like, we're just adding elements as people join and leave. But I think that's sort of the building block of what we want to do is play with what, when people join a page, we get this sort of like multiplayer vibe of, there are 10 people looking at this website right now, and that means that we get more of this stuff. There are other things that we could do. Like, one of the things that I want to build that I'll get around to eventually is I love the idea of doing a collaborative loot chest, kind of like if you've ever played Fortnite is the one I play, but there are a bunch of other games that do this, where sometimes you can just do a thing on your own, but other times you need a group, and like one or more people from your group needs to be with you in order to perform an action. Like, you need all 4 people in your party to be standing near a vault in order to open it, or something like that. So I thought it would be really fun to do that on a website where you needed, say, 4 people to be on that website and like holding down a button in order to get whatever the thing is that button unlocks. I thought that'd be really fun at like conferences or other events where people are going to be there live, because it sort of has this fun effect of like, you have to just grab somebody and be like, hey, can you help me get this prize? And like, we all get a prize. And those sorts of things are they're fun, they're silly, they're collaborative. And I think that's sort of the magic that this Party Kit stuff unlocks. And one of the reasons that I'm excited about it is that it means that we can build all sorts of playful stuff, and we don't really need to, like, we don't have to do a lot of super complicated shit to make it work. Like, let's just recap here. So to make this work, we have, let's start with the server. So on our server, we've got our actual Party Kit server, and we set account, connections, and the energy level. And these are just like private variables. We are running the constructor so that we get access to this party object. We've got an on message, which just broadcasts the message. Actually, we don't even need this because we're not currently using it. It's just more like a relay. And then on connect, we determine what the current energy level is based on how many people are currently on the site. We add the new connection and their energy level to this connections map. And then we, actually, you know what? We could even simplify this. We can do this connections size. And now, look at that. Now we're not doing a bunch of complicated crap. So then we broadcast a message, and that's a JSON object that includes how many people are connected right now, details about their connection, so their ID and their percentage, and then their connection ID and what the type is. On close, we do it in reverse. We remove their connection, we update the connection size or the count, and then we send that somebody left, right? Easy peasy. We're feeling good about this. And then on the Astro side, we connect to our Party Kit server, connect to the right room. And you can make these dynamic as well. Like, you could have multiple instances, and depending on where people went on the site, they could all be looking at the same logic, but like a different instance of the connections. And then we listen for messages. Every time we get a message, we make sure it has a count. Otherwise, we just assume like we haven't handled anything that doesn't have a count, so we can just bail. Then we grab the connection count, which is a span up here. We grab our template right here. And we grab our hero element, which is this section here. We update the counter to show the current number of people connected to the site. We check if somebody's joining. If they're joining, we loop over all of the connections. We grab out their ID and their percent, and then we make sure that the element exists. So we only create one per connection ID. We try not to delete them unless that person has left, so that we don't get a bunch of like DOM thrash. And then we update the data set to have the ID. We update the property. So we're using a CSS property to set our energy level percent. And then we add that to the DOM. And then when somebody leaves, we find that element and we remove it, right? So really, really straightforward on the logic. Honestly, the hardest part about this was remembering how all of these template things worked. And I think that was the biggest time suck, was getting lost in the node versus element versus HTML element and so on. All that to say, like, we were able to do a lot without getting really deep into the weeds of how WebSockets work. And I think that, to me, that's the part that's really exciting here, is that as we are like interacting with these sites, as we're like having ideas for stuff that we can build, we don't necessarily need to become real-time experts. We can just reach for a tool like this that does so much of that stuff for you, and then just, you know, get those ideas going. Is this going to get slow with 500 users? It shouldn't. So the current, let's see if they've got it written down. Scaling. Yeah, so this is how they manage the lots and lots of connections. All you have to do is add hibernate true. Is that really it? Without hibernations, oh, okay. So hibernation allows a single party instance to handle vastly more active connections. So without hibernation, about 100 before you get issues. With hibernation, 32,000. Practical maximum amount of connections may vary depending on performance characteristics. So like how much you're sending and all the stuff that you're trying to do with it. The limit to scale per party instance is 128 megabytes of memory. So with hibernation, the active WebSocket connections no longer count toward your party's memory limit. Cool. Okay. So that's pretty slick. So for us to do that, all I have to do is go into PartyKit server. Options. And then hibernate true. Really? That's kind of sick. Okay. So that should make it more. That should make it more performant, basically for free. So git commit add hibernation. And then once we get out here, so that is already deployed. And so this should, yeah, this should just work. yeah, now to find 32,000 people. And also, like, the code that we wrote here is not the most intensive code, so I think this would scale pretty far before we'd have any issues. But it is certainly should just work. I mean, I think that's sort of the vibe, right? Is like when you're first starting, especially if you're not building something that's like critical for your income, you can just ship it and see, because if you start doing stuff that is just in case, it can add a lot of complexity. It can keep you from shipping. Like things, I would say things are. It's better to ship it and learn, and especially when it's early, it is ideal to get feedback versus trying to hypothetically solve problems. And with this, I think it will scale. And I also think it's unlikely once I ship this that we'll see more than 100 people on the site anyways. So I'm not super worried about like massive scale, but it would be pretty fun if we could find a group of 32,000 people and see if we can just stress test the hell out of this. Whatever happens, happens. Indeed. My code is perfectly intense. Thank you. Okay, so I think that's about as far as I can go for the ideas that I have, at least. Did we like... Oh, interesting. It hit like a weird... Something weird happened. Fun. I don't know. We'll see. Got some interesting stuff going on in here. Don't know how that like froze the way that it froze, because it had a bunch of people on and then those people disappeared when I reloaded. So who knows? Maybe is that the hibernation maybe? Who's to say? Should probably actually look at it and figure out exactly how that works. Why don't we do that? That's not it. Here we go. How hibernation works. Okay, so with hibernation, the party hibernates when it's not actively handling messages. Open connections are still maintained and the clients don't notice anything. That's good. As soon as a client sends a message, a new party instance is instantiated and the constructor and onStart callback are executed again. Okay, so that's kind of good to know. Like this would be a consideration, is that if you're going to build it that way, you are potentially calling your constructor a bunch of times and your onStart a bunch of times. So in my case, that doesn't matter because I'm not doing anything in those. But if you were doing some kind of setup, that could theoretically be pretty expensive, could make a mess of, whatever boot scripts you're doing. So in my case, in-memory state between messages. Oh, I actually think what I'm doing is going to break. So like what I'm doing is I'm putting the connection data into memory. And so whenever this unmounts, it's trying to rebuild that. So I think that's probably what's going on here, is that it's unmounting the connection stuff. And that dumps my IDs and my percentages whenever it goes into hibernation mode. So if I was going to do this and use hibernation mode, I would need to think through how I want to track that data, or if I need to track that data. Maybe there's a different way that I could do it. And I can also, just decide, like, is it reasonable that I would see more than about 100 people on my site? Chances are on launch day, yes, but after that, probably not. So that'll be an interesting thing to try out. We'll have to We'll have to see. So with that, let me show y'all. Did you see that I launched a new 4devs1 app? Because this was a lot of fun, and y'all should go watch it. Shande trolled the heck out of us, and it was very funny. Cassidy and David are brilliant. This was super fun, and you should go watch this. You should watch it. You should comment on it. You should share it with your friends, because it I know it's a vanity metric, but like, boy, do people pay attention to things like subscriber counts. So do the sub thing, do the like thing, do the share thing, because all of those make it more possible for me to continue doing this as my full-time job. And especially with videos like these are really fun to make, and I want to continue making these. So definitely, please do go like, subscribe, share, and hopefully I'll get to make a whole lot more of them. So the multi-dev no communication, I think, is really, I think that's really clever. I like the vibe of like the no communication handoff. Like, you just got to go take a thing. You haven't hit like on a video since YouTube removed the thumbs down, but they didn't. It's right there. Oh, do you mean the count? Yeah. I mean, I still see the count. Thanks, Dev. I appreciate that. Yeah, they did remove the count. I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think, like, one of the things that's really hard is I don't know. I feel like there's enough negativity without having an explicit score of how many people hate your stuff. Does that mean that there's like is the count here? Do I really want to show that? Like, is it in here somewhere? Dislike this video. Undefined. That's all icons, so this isn't a count. Yeah, I don't think they put the count in here. So you'd probably need some kind of a API access or something. But yeah, I can find how many people have disliked my videos if I go and look at them, which is, I try not to look at that. Is it in the JSON response from the request? That's a good question. This is a good. What theoretical project would you make with PartyKit if you had unlimited time and resources? So I really want to make that like multiple person loot crate thing. So I love the idea of like a scavenger hunt, basically. So if I was going to put together an event, I would want to, work with sponsors and stuff to figure out how to get some prizes or something. And then I would want to find ways to make getting those prizes more fun than just like finding them, or like a random drawing. I would want it to be like, you have to work with a team. You have to find people to do part of it with you or something like that. Make it into a game, but like a real time game, and have the site or the phones be part of it. And what I think would be really fun about that is there are a bunch of ways that you can use this stuff. So for example, you could, we played this game called Anomia. I don't know if have anybody heard of this game? It is a lot of fun. So it's kind of a fast casual game. You lay cards down on the table. They have one of like a few shapes. So you can kind of see this here. Let me see if I can zoom in. So like these shapes here, like there's a diamond, there's a squiggle, there's this equal sign, etc. And as people flip over their cards, there's like, so this one says zoo animal and this one says famous address. And so if this person flips over this card, these two match, and this person has to come up with a zoo animal, and the person who has this card has to come up with a famous address, and whoever says it first wins. They like take the other person's card and put it in their points pile. It's a fun game, right? And I was thinking you could make this with PartyKit. So everybody could put their phones up on the table, and you would have the actual card that you currently have on top of your stack, and your like the other there's some combo stuff and some or wild cards or whatever they're called, and a few other things that you need to be tracking. But ultimately, you would just, like when it's your turn, you would hit the button and your card would switch, and then people would do the thing, and then you would say who won, right? So that would be, I think, really fun. And you could do something like that. Like you could literally make it so that somebody has to play a game of Anomia to win a prize. Could you use voice recognition? You definitely could use voice recognition. One of the things that I have been playing with is the idea of building a voice interface to interact with the website. Not that I think is going to be good, but that I think is going to be very funny. So like I want to make it so that you can control my personal website by talking to it, and it's going to be real, hopefully funny, probably not good. It will probably not work very well, but it will, when it works, I think it will work in a way that's very fun. But you can do, you can also do, I did something with, what was the episode? It was, image recognition. Oh boy, was it this one? Yeah. So this one, I don't think, do I have anything that looks, that says person. I want it to say book. Anyways, I don't know how to make this work, but we had this set up where it was like you had to show it a banana, a fork, and a book, and that was the password to like get to the next stage. And I have none of those things in my studio, unfortunately. So I don't know why it won't. I guess it's too good at seeing me, and not at the whatever. It's fine. So this was fun though. If you want to see how that works, you can check out that episode. This was really cool though. So, but you can like put this together with PartyKit. So you could theoretically say you need, like, each person has to get one of those objects, and you all have to show it at the same time. So the TensorFlow instance on my phone would need to be recognizing a banana. The one on your phone would need to recognize a book, and so on and so forth. And I think that could be there's so much chaos and so much fun that there is to be had with these sorts of things. So, yeah, like kind of unlimited fun with PartyKit. If you like, not with PartyKit, but like when you think about multiplayer, it tacks on to anything else that you can build. So you can make it so that, I don't know, you could do competitive navigation. Like, the button only works for the first person to click on it, and you could build your own Jackbox game. Oh, that's a good idea. You could use like a real-time drawing sort of thing and do a Jackbox game. You could do really any kind of game. Like the real-time stuff makes for great multiplayer experiences. Yeah, you can do a lot. The sky's kind of the limit on that. Okay, so I've asked everyone to go and watch this episode. I'm going to share it one more time. Just hook me up, y'all. Show me that you love me. Why is it? It's showing the time. Whatever. That's going to jump into the end. You have to skip back to the beginning. Also, check out party kit because it's cool. And go look at the schedule because we've got so much good stuff coming up. This week, though, this is going to be great. We've got Cassie Evans coming back. We're going to do some green sock animation, which would also go really well with real time. And we are going to do some, like, just something kind of holiday themed. And we're probably going to hang out with her dog. And her dog is great, Brody. We'll get Brody to sing for us. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So make sure you please do the like and subscribe. Go add this to your calendar. You can add it to your calendar here. You can get the schedule on. We've got it on Discord, on email, on your calendar here. You can put it on YouTube. You can get it on Twitch, wherever you want to go. That is definitely the right place to go. So with that, I think we're going to call this one, y'all. So thank you all very much for hanging out, and get out there. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. It is a Postman hat, and I cannot wait to hang out with Mark. Mark is amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you've never hung out with Mark Texan, make sure you mark your calendar for this one because Mark he's great. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.